What's going on, guys, and welcome back to F123 for my team career mode season 1 round number 2, the Australian Grand Prix. We're back here once again, starting off with a personnel department kind of activity thing, and we can either decide to put Iwasa's race pace up by 7 or his awareness up by 7. We're going to go for the race pace, see if he can actually bridge the gap to us a little bit here. Now that our car is sitting firmly in the midfield there towards the top end of it with Alpine. So yeah, we'll see if maybe Iwasa can get close or maybe even in the points this race weekend, as we're now going to put a few R&D parts on the car. An aerodynamic upgrade there. We're also looking at chassis, because chassis is the one part where we are quite a bit further down than we should be. Can't quite do another chassis upgrade at the moment because we don't have the facility upgrades to, do more than one upgrade at a time. But or maybe we can do 2. We can't do any more than that, I'm not 100% sure. But we're going to put a powertrain upgrade on, and then we are actually going to confirm and buy the second layer of fabrication for chassis, and that will put chassis up to spec 2 as well, so that'll be very good. We're then going to redo a couple of parts because they failed. Then looking at our R&D, we've actually had a decent jump up going into this race weekend. We've kind of moved away from Alpine now and are really close to Aston Martin, who have been kind of left behind a little bit by Mercedes, but they're still somewhat there. But now we're really already encroaching in on that top 4, isn't it, of Red Bull, Ferrari, Mercedes and Aston Martin. So we'll have to see what happens there. Now for this race weekend, I've actually changed a couple of settings. First thing I haven't done, which I said I was going to do last time but I honestly forgot, was change my emblem. I will try and remember to do that for next time. It's just an aesthetic thing, but I do want to get rid of that kind of white background of my emblem. But what I have done is I have actually turned traction control off. I usually run with traction control on medium, but I've decided to turn it completely off for this game from now onwards. Just gives us a bit more pace and also just a bit more jeopardy, so I think that's going to be fun. As we go through Q1 here, we managed to get through into Q2, and Iwasa also gets through. That extra pace is obviously helping him out here. P16 for him, he just manages to slip through into Q2, so that's very good to see that he is working his way up the order a little bit here. And then into Q2, just absolutely pitting the car. I do quite enjoy this track now that I'm kind of... Australia used to be one of those tracks that I didn't used to love driving, Albert Park, but I've actually gotten used to it and got to enjoy it quite a lot in the last game, and in this game it's no different. Even with the traction control, it is very exciting. One thing I did notice though was that through Sector 1 we were absolutely blitzing it. We were pretty much going purple through Sector 1, quicker than the Red Bulls. However, we would lose a bit of time through Sector 2 and Sector 3. I think mainly that final corner I wasn't quite getting right. We ended up P6 at the end of Q2. Iwasa unfortunately didn't quite make it through to Q3, but it's P14 for him. I think that's a pretty decent result considering it's only his second race in Formula 1. Biggest surprises for Q3, probably Lando Norris getting up into Q3 in the McLaren. Good stuff from him. Lance Stroll once again knocked out of Q2 in that Aston Martin, which should really be in Q3, so not looking good for Stroll. As we continue on here, Q3, our best lap in Q3, and the time that will give us our position for the race. As you can see here, Sector 1 is just such a good sector. I think pretty much the last car to go through here, and we go purple through the first sector. We're just absolutely smashing that first sector, but then we seem to lose quite a lot of it in this second sector. I don't know if it's the straight line speed. Our powertrain kind of upgrades are actually quite high, so I don't think that's the case. I think it's more the fact that we don't quite have the speed through like this corner here, the fast corners like that. I think we're quite good through slow medium corners, but through faster corners we don't quite have the grip of the top teams. Through this corner here, it's not too bad. Have to be careful on the throttle out there, because you can, especially with traction control off, you can spin the wheels and go around. Did that a couple of times, I will be honest. And then through this final sector here, once again, patient on the throttle around this final corner. I think I may be a little bit too patient, not quite getting the right line, the right run through there, and that is what loses me quite a lot of time. But in the end, it's P8 for us, which is about where I expected to be, especially with, Stroll not making it through. We're ahead of Esteban Ocon in the Alpine, and ahead of Lando Norris, who brings it up in P10. P10. Good result from him considering where that McLaren is. He does have a 5-place grid penalty though, apparently for impeding. I couldn't, you know, see a replay of that, but yeah, don't know what happened there with Lando, but it's a good result nonetheless, and it's good from us in P8. So let's see what we can do in the race for the Australian Grand Prix.
This circuit missed a few years off the F1 calendar, and we missed Albert Park. So welcome back, and it's great to be back in Melbourne. Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. So here we are at Albert Park Circuit, 3.28 miles around, with the streets making for a bumpy surface with little undulation. There are 14 corners around the lake, with the best passing opportunities coming at turn 1 and turn 3. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Russell, Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Davies, Ocon, Gasly, Bottas, Stroll, Iwasa, Hulkenberg, Norris, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Albon, De Vries, Sargent, De Vries. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Natalie Pinkham joins me once again in the commentary box. It's fantastic to have you with us today. I'm curious though, how do you think the drivers stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, the regulations aren't new anymore, but the teams and the drivers are still coming to terms with them. I firmly believe it's also track specific. We've seen some wheel-to-wheel racing throughout the year. Some tracks lend themselves better to it than others. I'd like to see it at every race in the whole season. Is that too much to ask?
Well, I hope it's not too much to ask, Natalie, because I'd love to see some great wheel-to-wheel action too. And let's see what we have in store for us for the Australian Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go. A little bit of wheel spin off the line, but it actually gives us a really good run. And we're actually alongside Alonso as we head down into turn 1. We're not quite going to fight him too much, although a little bit of tyre banging through turn 1 there with Alonso as he goes for a move on Leclerc. Leclerc once again, just like in Bahrain, being beaten by his teammate in qualifying and then not having the best starts either. The two Alpines behind us are having a bit of a battle too. Gasly starting on the soft compound tyres with Ocon on the mediums. My teammate Iwasa is also starting on the soft compound tyres here, so wondering if maybe he's going for a soft to medium strategy. We're doing just like we did in Bahrain, medium to soft, medium to hard one stop. I think a soft to medium would be a little bit too much. Maybe a soft to hard is possible in the future, but yeah, I don't know, with using all our tyres up in qualifying, I don't really know, don't think we'd really have a new set of softs anyway for the race, and I think he would want to be on a new set, so we'll have to see later on down the line. Maybe if we end up getting knocked out in Q2 at some point in the future, we might try a soft tyre in the race, but for now it is medium tyres for us. Leclerc gets himself back past Alonso again, up ahead. Gasly is the Alpine ahead, behind us, ahead of Ocon on those soft tyres. And yeah, we've had a decent first lap here. We've kind of kept position, we've had a good little fight into turn 1, kept the Alpines behind as they've been fighting each other, and somewhat kept with the cars ahead, but we will of course start losing out to Alonso and the cars ahead because they are just quite a lot quicker than us. And in fact the Alpines behind are showing more pace here, and Gasly on those soft tyres is going for a move around the outside into this next corner. We're just going to brake a little bit later, cut him off, make sure he doesn't get that position there, because I think in a couple of laps time those soft tyres will be going off. And sure enough, at the end of lap number 4, actually towards the end, his tyres already seem to be going off, and he's just so close behind us that Esteban Ocon, his teammate, is actually now looking for a move on Pierre Gasly as Gasly gets a big old tank slapper around that corner there. Very big sideways moment. Ocon though round the outside of his teammate, and he will get that position. Gasly perhaps now feeling the tyre wear on those soft tyres. Leclerc, like I said, beaten by Sainz once again. That's 2-0 for, well, 2 Sainz in qualifying at the moment. So Leclerc's trying to do what he did in Bahrain and make up the positions in the race, and his teammate is the next one up the road side by side through this next section here. They're having a nice little ding-dong battle here, but Sainz will not give up, and Sainz will stay ahead at that point in time, but it won't be over yet, as these three with Alonso there in the background are nose to tail through this fast back straight here, as Leclerc gets a good run and DRS off that corner, tries going to the inside, Sainz cuts him off, so goes to the outside. He's going to try and go around the outside of this next corner. He's got a good run out of the corner, and that will put him up into, I believe, P5 behind the two Red Bulls and the two Mercedes running third and fourth at the moment, with Hamilton currently sitting in third. The two Red Bulls, Max Verstappen led us away from pole position, but Perez is showing some very good pace here, and he's going to go for the move around the outside of this corner. Perez showing some good pace here at the moment, just like he did in Bahrain, until he kind of got screwed over in the pit stops and then had a mechanical failure which ended his race. We've got yellow flags up ahead of us. Not sure what that is about here. Still trying to defend from the Alpines behind, but it is Lewis Hamilton. No, from third place. Lewis Hamilton has got an engine failure, a little bit of smoke puffing out of his engine there, and that is race over for the 7-time world champion. Some more smoke pours out of his engine, and that is Hamilton from a podium position out of this race. We are now defending from from Esteban Ocon. He tries going for a move. We really aggressively cut him off, but he manages to just about stay behind us, which is going to give him the run and the DRS down the next corner, and we don't have the ERS to fight him. We don't have the speed. We don't have DRS either, so we're going to have to let him go and try and get him in a couple of laps time. The two Ferraris still battling it out here. Leclerc still trying to get past his teammate. Sainz now actually trying to get back past Leclerc again, but it doesn't work for him, and Alonso is actually now in for the party as well. He goes round the outside of his fellow compatriot Spaniard. These two had a bit of a battle in Bahrain, and they're still battling it out here in Australia, but Alonso gets the position in the end, so that is one less position at the moment for Carlos Sainz. As now we are once again right up behind Esteban Ocon. Gasly is just waiting there behind us as well, though still on those soft compound tyres, so he's managing to still keep with us as we're fighting, as we're going to dart to the inside of Ocon into this corner. We're going to push him out a little bit wide, but still give him enough room. He tries to keep it there, but we're able to go defensive, get the position back up into P7 for us, but it won't last very long, because once again down the main straight, down the front straight, Ocon with the DRS and with us just not really having the ERS to use. I don't want to absolutely demolish our ERS and not have any to fight later on, so we just kind of have to let Ocon back past again. But a couple of laps later, waited for my ERS to charge back up a little bit, and we're once again right back on the back of Esteban Ocon as we head down this straight here to the inside. This time he doesn't have time to cut us off. Once again, pretty much doing the same move we did last time, a little bit further ahead this time though, so we can really get ahead by the next corner, and we are up ahead of Esteban Ocon. He actually loses a bit of time through that corner, just getting a bit too caught out, and then a few laps later we're going to be coming into the pits. Ocon is coming in to behind us for our one and only stop onto the hard compound tyres. Here we go. It is it's a decent stop for the team. Nothing amazing, nothing terrible though, just kind of an average stop. And we're going to come out of the pits here with Ocon just behind us. Don't really gain or lose any time there. But a driver who does seem to have gained a lot of time is our teammate, Ayumu Iwasa. He is now right behind myself and Gasly, and myself and Ocon, and Gasly is the car up ahead of us. And look at this though, Ocon though, on the fresh tyres, can warm up his tyres. We've seen this by the AI, they can warm up their tyres a bit quicker than the player can, and Ocon's actually managed to get us on this back straight here. So that was not ideal, but I've just kind of got to wait it out at the moment. We don't have DRS either to fight back at him. My teammate Iwasa is showing some really good pace here on the medium tyre, so it does seem like he is going for the soft to medium strategy. I'm not sure about Gasly though. I think he might also be doing the same thing, but yeah, it's It's interesting here, maybe Iwasa and Gasly will have to do one more stop onto another set of softs, or maybe they're going to try and go to the end on the mediums. But at the moment, Iwasa's showing really good pace on those medium compound tyres, and we're not going to put up a fight, we're going to let Iwasa go. And I've just seen up the top there, Gasly's actually on the hard tyres, so Gasly's gone soft to hard by the looks of it, so maybe he doesn't feel like the tyre wear is quite there in the Alpine compared to our team, or, you know, Iwasa is going for another stop. As now the battle for the podium, George Russell currently sits on the podium, but Charles Leclerc is actually now fighting him. It was Russell who seemed like he had more pace in Bahrain. He managed to get the P2, and Leclerc was P3. Now these two are just battling for P3 with the two Red Bulls in P1 and 2, but Leclerc seems to have more pace. Now he has just taken that final podium position, as now once again we're going for a battle. This is Iwasa actually going for a move on Esteban Ocon, so he's showing some really good pace right now around the outside of the French driver, and that is a great move from Iwasa. He's showing some amazing pace here, and we now have a battle of two Alpines and two TGL Motorsport cars. It is blue from white from blue from white. It looks very nice here, and we could be going into quite a spicy battle into this next corner as Iwasa goes for the move on Pierre Gasly. We have a little look at Esteban Ocon behind. Iwasa just about, oh, he's not quite past Gasly actually. We have a big moment of oversteer as I just try to put a bit too much power down. That is what traction control off does to us. And in the end though, Iwasa will just about manage to stay ahead of that in that battle, as now I think this is Gasly ahead of this train now, because Iwasa's managed to run away. Gasly's now a little bit slow on those hard tyres. Ocon goes to the outside, we go to the inside. It's almost 3 wide for a brief moment. Gasly has really been shoved off the road by his teammate and by myself. He's really showing not great pace there. Is he on the medium? It looks like he's on mediums again now. I'm a little bit confused about that, because I swear it said that he was on the hard tyres, but I don't know what's going on there. I think he might actually be coming into the pits, so maybe Gasly's got an issue, because that would be his second pit stop. But yeah, we're now right behind Ocon. My teammate Iwasa's kind of buggered off up the road here, but yeah, we just got to see what we can do here. Follow behind Ocon, see if we can make any positions. Alright, so now Ocon is the car ahead of us, and we're getting a great run on him into this next corner. We're going for a big ballsy move up the inside and give him the space, but managed to get the position up now into P8, and it's now my teammate who I've got to chase after in Ayumu Iwasa, and those medium tyres are starting to wear out a little bit, and we're catching up to him. We're not going to be too aggressive on him here. We're going to wait until we get to the next DRS zone to make a move on our teammate, as we're hooked up right behind him right now, but with DRS and a little bit of ERS as well. We're actually going to go to the outside. I really don't want to make this messy, but we're just going to try and breeze around the outside of him. He puts up a decent fight, but it's not too crazy, and we're going to get up into P7 back to where we finished actually in Bahrain. So looking pretty good at the moment. We continue on here, lap number whatever this is, 27. Oh, this is 27 of 29, and yeah, we're starting to make a little bit of a gap to the cars behind. But what is that? That is a red engine, and that is smoke. That is a lot of smoke billowing out of the back of our car, and that is going to be race over in Australia with 2 laps to go. It came out of absolutely nowhere, no warning, no nothing. Engines up in smoke. We are out of the Australian Grand Prix. It was looking like a pretty easy P7 finish, but a mechanical failure, our first mechanical failure of this game, is going to mean the end of this one. This could mean though that Iwasa maybe scores a point or 2 here, but for us, it's no points.
Stuff from Red Bull today. What a superb victory. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I want to know if that was as easy as it looked. An absolute masterclass today.
Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
With no mechanical failures for the Red Bull drivers, it is a pretty easy 1-2 for them here today. Once again, it's Max Verstappen taking win number 2 of the season, 2 for 2 so far. Perez in second place, and Charles Leclerc manages to keep that third place podium. So that is 2 third place finishes for Leclerc so far this season. So after some pretty poor qualifyings, he's showing good pace in the race, but those Red Bulls seem pretty undefeatable at the moment. They are very quick, and it's going to take quite a bit for, I think it's going to be either Mercedes or Ferrari that can challenge them. Alonso and Aston Martin seem a little bit too far off at the moment. For us, it is a DNF, unfortunately, P21. Iwasa, though, does manage to get P10, so it's 1 point for him, so another point for the team, so that's good at least. At least we do score something this race. And yeah, in the Drivers' Championship, Verstappen is slowly eking his way out in front, Leclerc second, and Russell in third at the moment. We are P10 in the Drivers' Championship. And then in the Constructors, Red Bull now in front with Ferrari second, then Mercedes, Aston Martin, Alpine, our team, and then McLaren scoring 2 points this race weekend with Lando Norris to finish P7. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.